how much the keys have? Do they have, and do the keys have 948 grams, or do it have, I said kilowatts. 1,000. I said, if you're getting a kilo that have 900 and some grams, it's not a kilo. A kilo is a weight. They know it now, but they didn't know it then. A kilo is 1,000 grams. An ounce is 28.35 grams. They was getting, the Mexicans sold heroin for 25 grams. They call that an ounce. That's what they. I said, they cheating y'all. An ounce is 28.35 grams. Well, you gonna get 40, how many ounces? We're gonna get 40 ounces in the kilos. It's just not 40 ounces in a kilo. It's 35, something like that. But they was getting 25 a gram. 25 grams per ounce. That's what they Negroes was calling. They still probably do it. Per ounce. Not 28. I say you got another 3.5 grams coming per ounce. The weight. That's the weight. 1 ounce. So what are you niggas doing? You can't change the weight. You know what I mean, and call it something, which we did. I need a piece. A piece meant something. And then when you get into the real business down there, and you're trying to tell your friends. And I'm telling my friends that I'm getting stuff too. I said, there's no such thing as a 948 gram kilo. Because he had a paper, somebody gave him a paper, and they asked him, well, how many grams is that kilo going to have? And the highest thing he had was 948. I said, how many grams is the kilo going to have? I said, the kilos will have 1,000 grams per kilo. Kilo. 1,000. Kilowatts, hell is 4,000 kilowatts, is that? So many thousand kilowatts? Because I'm telling them now from the measurement. Over here we didn't know the measurements. We just knew the Negro. They know it now. But anyway, let me get back to the thing. The idea was that black people in the first years should control their neighborhoods. When we put it into drugs, the black people, the world is going toward drugs big time. Therefore, we should, that's what we thought in those days, should control that thing. When we came into Islam, we still had remnants of it. That's not the right thing that, what niggas gonna control this, that. But when you're in the early years, in the 80s, we're not thinking like it was in drug dealing, but we're thinking like, who are all the people coming to Islam? Black people, right? So therefore, black people should automatically manage, because that's the clientele, that's the people listening, that's the people understanding it, that's the whole history. And the people that came here who are still affected by, well, we call it the slave mentality, and we call it, colonial mentality. They were overwhelmed by white folks. They was then, and those old people still are. The children don't have it as bad. The children in the colleges now, but they got tanks of it. And they're trying to install Euros. I can see why the Negroes are so sad. Because this Negro been a Muslim for 500 years, they got a guy come in, he been a Muslim. When you take a shot, yesterday, and he giving a lecture on, everything. And he's doggone near the Imam. Now, it's many reasons for it, because they feel inferior to white folks, but also if we put white folks out there, the government won't be afraid of us. That's why that rotten, low-down Muslim organization down in Texas, you call the guy sometime, they wouldn't touch me. Everybody in there is the FBI. You could tell, oh yeah, no, so-and-so, we used to work at da-da-da-da-da. I said, good God Almighty. And they wondering why we don't win no cases. They don't wonder why we don't do everything we do, and they be making money because they got to pay their salaries. And they're way up middle class. They're not going to sleep like we do on the floor and push a car to get it started. No, they're going to drive. Their lifestyle is like the people over at CARE. You think they're going to live like we do? See, the people are not going to live like us. Those people. To them, it's a job. And to them, when they raise $2 million, that's just going to get them home and around, pay their bills and stuff. And for us, we could declare jihad with $2 million. But people see them as multi-million-dollar Muslims, and they see us as nickel and dime Muslims. That's why we have to tell them we're not beggars. That's why we'll put out the thing that we'll explain to them in detail. This is who we are. Whether they accept it or not, whether they like it or not, and we are not them. Part of our discourse will be, we're not them. We're not CARE. Right? We're not all those other people. You put your faith and your trust in them, and you just, we're not going to tell them they're a fool or nothing. They were stupid. But they were. They put their trust in people that you could see when they walk in that they're not they're not down with that, And I tried. Tried to call the guy. The guy said, because they had me introduce Mahmoud. And then I told the guy that I'll give you a holler. He ran down to me what the Zionists said. I read up on you, and the Zionists said this, that, and another. And no matter what I said, he came back. I said, you cannot base what they say about me. I'm telling you where I'm coming from. I'm telling you, not them. And you go right back to it. They said, yeah, I said, well, I see where that's coming. Well, I should have known it all. I did know it. I actually could see it because everybody has their characteristics. The guy doing the talking at first said, I wanted to be a Baptist preacher. Then I came to Islam, and I looked at him doing Juma. I said, he's still a Baptist preacher, a white Baptist preacher. That's what you still are. You still are. I mean, maybe you said you wasn't, but I'm just saying. I'm saying what he acts like. I'm saying what history says. And remember, you can't be mad at that or sad at that because they have a picture, no matter how many battles boss man lose, they have a picture of success, and it's white. They have a picture of effectiveness and efficiency. They can make mistakes all day long, and they're going to cover them up for them. They're going to follow the Quran, conceal your brother's faults. They're not going to conceal yours. They're going to highlight them, and nothing you can do about it, right? That's the way it is. So we can't, no, that's the way it is. You have to deal with how is that? That's the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. So you make do and try to manage the best you can under those conditions until you can change those conditions, until you can improve those conditions. And I don't believe as any European could go through what we've been going through for the last 40-something years and stay sane, anywhere close to sane. I don't believe it. Not that I was I remember when I was being transferred from one penitentiary to the other, we was down in, I left McNeil Island, and I was chained to, a yogi guy, a modern, not a hippie, but a yogi like, and he was helping me with yoga and all that. And we talked. So he was a conscious European. He was going to Atlanta, and I was going to Leavenworth. And we stopped in a place in Texas, La Tuna. It's a federal joint. You can throw a rock from the border over into Mexico. They call it La Tuna. Not far from El Paso. And so when we would go out and have a little exercise and sometime we went out in a big yard. Most of the time we stayed in a little yard they had for guys in transit. So the guys in transit was right close to the guys that was in segregation or lockup. And one of the white revolutionaries from the old days, it wasn't the old days then, but from a few years, he was doing time in La Tuna. And he would talk, this white boy would tell me what the other white boy said. There was a famous white boy, I forget who it was, but he said, man, the brother's despondent because he said you beat your head up against the wall and they come by with a little bit of plaster and fix it up and go on about their business, which he was saying you bump your head, you destroy your life for the system. They bring some idiot, put him there. He's a sheriff, he's a this, and that's it. So the guy he was talking to was doing time in La Tuna, and he was in segregation, isolation, we in transit. And so basically what it was, and this must have been 75, I would say. It was in 75. So the rebellion is over. They didn't just kill or getting ready to kill that last batch of Sudanese Liberation Army. They killed them in L.A. They burned the house down. I don't know if anybody, they burned them up. Now, L.A. police got that good. Think of the last black police that was shooting everybody. What did they do? They burned his butt alive. L.A. got it bad. They'll burn your butt if you better get away. If you don't, they're going to slaughter you and burn you. That's their M.O. They do that. And that house they was in L.A., they burned some of the last members, except Patty Hearst got away some kind of way. Remember Tanya, Patty Hearst, Sudanese Liberation Army? Anyway, the Europeans of that generation had some people that were SDS, Students for Democratic Society, but their commitment was different. It's just like now everybody snitches, but in those days when white boys got caught like dealing dope or something like that, they just told on everybody. Negroes couldn't tell on everybody. They didn't tell on everybody. They would tell on a few. But the white boys, as soon as you caught one, he gonna tell on everybody. That's what they did in those days. I don't know. It's probably different now. Unless you was in the mafia. The mafia, they'd knock you over. They'd burn you behind. But then Sammy the Bull started telling on everybody and broke that wall down. And he wake him up in the out of the middle of the sleep, and he started telling on Perry, there he is over there. That's so and so did that. Anyway, huh?
As far as the white revolutionaries were concerned, it seemed that their focus was more about the Vietnam War. Is that true? Did it go beyond the Vietnam?
Oh yeah. Student for Democratic Society. They had platforms. No, it was a revolution. The whole show. Now the ones out in the street that mobilized for all of that, they watching TV and they all them body bags coming back from Vietnam and they in school. You know the white kids. They said absolutely not. I ain't going. That's why they go to Canada anywhere to get away. Yeah, I'm not dying for that. They had enough history to know that that's a colonial, neo-colonial war. Da, 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 da. So, no, it was some of the white kids was serious. I mean, real serious.
I know some did join the BGF.
No, the BGF, like BGF that was started in California. They, out there's a BGF over here that the white boy wanted to, in Hagerstown, all wanted to join the BGF in Hagerstown. They told him, you can't, start your own. So they started a sympathetic group of white boys that were, they're not the Nazis, they're not sympathetic to niggas, to the black people. You know what I mean? These is white boys that they practice all day, with razors. You hold this on, hold that on. They practice that. And they do a lot of bad work. Okay, but then the Negroes is pretty good too. I don't know if you ever heard of Cadillac and Cadillac from here. Yeah, Cadillac from here. Cadillac, that same jail I was just telling you. What happened? I don't want to go back in it all, but I'm going to tell you. I was in Florida. I got arrested in Florida. So I was doing time down there. So I put in a slip. I'm from California, so I want to go back, 500 miles. So the transfer came in. I could go back to California. So they put me on the bus, and I would go from Miami. The next stop would be Tallahassee. Tallahassee is a federal joint there. Then from Tallahassee, the next stop on the bus is Atlanta. From Atlanta, you go west. Now, they got the Negroes from D.C. Now, see, this is the first time I really got, really with the D.C. brothers. They're different. They different. Every pen I went, when we was at Memphis, it would have they keep you either in the hole or you're in you're not in the main line. So they'd have a sign, keep this guy away from D.C. blacks. Hey man. So when I got to Atlanta, the crew from up here, from Lawton, they headed south. They meet us in Atlanta. And so we ride from Atlanta, different joints, all the way till we get to Lompoc. And all of Chicken Red. Do you know, as many Negroes I knew from D.C., I have not seen one that I was in the penitentiary with. that has to mean, somebody, hey, Musa, hey, man, what you doing over here in D.C.? It ain't happened. The Imam that was a nurse in the when he got out over at Masjid Muhammad, he was the only one. We used to talk all the time. He was over there. He had a middle class job. He was, and I would say, what happened to so and so? What happened to Billy X and all of them guys? Well, I seen them once, and then that was the Muslims. But out of the Negroes, the federal prison is full of DC Negroes. I don't see no Negroes that I knew. I mean, I'm talking about now, when I got here 30 years ago, over 30 years ago, we were still not young, but if I've been in the prison with that many people and I'm up and down the street and all over and I don't run into not one single Negro that I was in the penitentiary with. From McNeil Island, I've been all over the federal prison system. I ain't seen none. Nobody ever stopped me and said, man, what you doing over here in D.C.? Man, I'm going to tell you, it didn't when we were, I ain't seen it. No. That means the life expectancy of those people had to be very low. Now back to the original story. So, no, Cadillac. Everybody heard about Cadillac. You can turn on the thing and they have the Moors talking about Cadillac, and they have Cadillac. Cadillac was big with them. Anyway, we was at the same place, La Tuna, and it was a Mexican guy, had a nice little old girl, another boy, of course, and that was kind of like his sissy. And Cadillac, right in front of all us, we in the little, he pop, and he hit the Mexican a few times. So I said, Cadillac, you know who that Mexican is? I said, he didn't kill 2 federal agents. I said, that's the baddest Mexican in the United States. And you know where you're going? You're going to California. You know what's out there? Do you know what's in California? California? Mexicans. And you didn't picked on, that's the baddest one in the United States. I mean, he's really like, he's one of their leaders. But he ain't he could have come back and fight, you know what I mean? But he didn't do it. That's the DC mentality. The guys was always going to take something. So Cadillac he had a friend in Kansas City. Them Negroes, look, they got a little, everybody in California know the rule. When you're in your cell, they got that lever down there. And that lever, when they got the cells unlocked, at a movement, every hour or so, they push that lever and you can hear it go. And then now the doors are all open for that movement a certain amount of time. All of us, I don't care, you can be dead asleep. When you hear that little, you sit up on your bunk. Because, people can come in on you. You automatically do that. Because the other thing, they can, at Leavenworth, they tie your cell up and throw that fluid they get down in the industry, might as well call it lighter fluid. They throw it in there in that cell, and whoosh, and you can't get out, not quick enough. And anyway, it's pretty mean if you don't know how to. But homeboy, he would get drunk. They'd make them that pruno and stuff, and he'd get drunk. And I was on the yard with him, and he was telling me, he said, man, the BGF, I was walking around the baseball diamond, and all of a sudden, I said, what, they was all playing like they had been playing baseball, and all of a sudden they'd add that there on you? I said, that's California. I said, the most skilled places for that is California. You know, organized stuff like that. And when I got there, we all walking down, and ooh, look at these pretty niggas here. Now at Lompoc, they was just changing it to a penitentiary to FCI. In the FCI, California was still wearing perms in those days. Jerry curls was out. But the Negroes, and the Negroes in California, it was pretty niggas. They'd have rings on and you know, and they used to go walking, and woo, and the DC brothers, we walking down. Ooh, look at these pretty niggas here. I said, man, they got the gangs in L.A., Slauson Lowriders. So that nigga there is the head of the Lowriders. That nigga can whoop 12 niggas with one hand. That nigga there. He's a pretty nigga. He is pretty. He's pretty. But you ain't going to, and I had to try to school the DC brothers, because if you were from California and you were with a whole group of people from DC, you were saying, man, these boys, and when they got out there, man, it was, one of them had killed another guy from California. I look at him, he on the bus going somewhere else. And then Cadillac now, I hope this, Cadillac is the only person, Cadillac was my friend, but Cadillac is the only person in history that he was going to take from everybody. So the white boys, you know, we had a rule. If something happened to keep peace in the penitentiary, something happened with one of the hours, you'd let us know, we'd take care of it. Something happened, you know. So the white boys came they said, we're going to go and take the brother out, you know. I mean, he's off the chain. So the brothers mumbled and said, we'd take care of it. So the brothers told him, they said, Cadillac, you out here, if you want something to smoke, we'll make sure you get some. You know. So, but you can't take nothing out here. You know, you can't take nothing. You know, like, you know, and plus you're in California, this is not D.C. You know, this is not Lorton up there. This is not D.C. He said, man, he said, Musa, that's the first time I've been scared. I said, they swooped up on you. All of a sudden, you just walking, whistling, and all of a sudden, there they are. Swoop! I said, niggas in California, that's their profession. I said, gang activity, especially the L.A. Negro, they do it. I said, the BGF, the move from civil rights to killing niggas. And they do it professionally. They do it. The Mexicans do it. Everybody, you know, that's what they do. Everybody now is professional. So, Cadillac, man, he was a friend of mine. In fact, when I went out to camp, I was out there pretending to work, and I looked on the bus as Cadillac. I waved at him. He's going somewhere back east. He got back east here, and they killed him. The white boys finally got to him. But one thing about the D.C. Negro, them D.C. Negroes, they must kill every white boy left. And they don't, the D.C. Negro is I don't know why they like that. I mean, I can't say. But here's the thing. The D.C. Negro is like, D.C. is a federal reservation. So everybody to get a case here can go into the federal prison system. Okay, so basically the D.C. Negroes are state prison type inmates in a federal system. In a federal system, it's all, everybody is organized. Nobody's there for robbing a liquor store. You're there because you managed this group or that group, or you had a national check cashing ring, and da 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 da, or you smuggled drugs and you had a whole, everybody there is organized, so they don't run around. Now it's getting like that, but they don't run around the yard in a federal prison. You know what I mean, like they do out at Lorton or the state penitentiary. Everybody always fighting and beating each other to death. They do it now, but in those days, a federal penitentiary, it was you in La La Land. It was peaceful, but everybody is organized. You know what I mean? And then the D.C. brothers, because people ask me up till today, man, why you go to D.C., man? You know them D.C. blah 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 blah. So I said that's why I came here. I said because da 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 da, and I had my own reasons. But anyway, it's been a lot of experience. I'm going to wrap it up by saying this: what we're doing now, we have to do it. Nobody else is. I don't see anybody that's thinking about it. I don't see anybody that's organized for it. I don't see anybody that had a history for it. And I don't see anybody that had a heart for it. Even if they have the heart for it, they have the not the tenderness, not the kindness. That we won't get there with that old colored stuff. The lessons that you would learn to get where we are, we can't use those lessons to do this job, because that would be a lesson of hatred and meanness and murder and you know what I mean, stuff like that. That's not what the world needs. Okay, so we're right where we belong. We thank Allah for allowing us to be in this position. And the only thing we would like to say is none of us should panic that this thing is going to go. If we just, and I'll move toward a close, look at the news, everything that's happening. Everything that's happening, we done told them about it, and we done talked about it, and everything is in a backfire mode. Okay, the people want to sanction Russia, and they don't want nobody to buy Russian oil, heating oil. It's still a little chilly in Europe. The United States, which got their own oil, is telling the Europeans, I don't want y'all to buy none of that oil. Europeans is saying that, but they mean they already got their deals going on, and they're not going to sit up there and freeze for the United States, because all of them know the United States started this problem. They started this problem. They all know it, and they want to. And the guy that's the president of Ukraine, he's not a historical politician. He's a comedian and all of that. He don't know the game. And why would the United States give them all the weapons they need to keep them fighting so they can drag the Russians down like they did in Afghanistan? They're not going to do that. The Russians lose, and then they're going so slow. They're going slow because that's what they want, through the methodology and step by step. They don't want to kill no whole lot of people. Actually, because last month they was all Russians. You know what I mean? They was part of Russia. So they don't want to, they blew up this place, they blew up that. I'm sorry they didn't blow up that place. You might have blew it up and trying to blame it on them. In everything they're doing, the manifestation of defects. Well, all the white folks can go, but we can't let the niggas go. Now, you don't see that on the news now, but there's no black person that don't remember that. So whatever you tell them about Ukraine, they're gonna dial that up, right to the top of that's the place where they don't want the Negroes to leave and let the white folks go. And they've said it in words. Well, they have blonde hair and blue eyes. And you don't hear about the Muslims in Crimea nor inside of Ukraine. Why? Because we done taught everybody to hate Muslims. So we don't want you to think you're going to do something to help some Muslims. And the Nazis, the Russians lost 27 million people to Nazis. So you can say what you want, but Putin said, no, I ain't having none of that around here. We're just not having that. I don't care whether you like it or not, or whether you ain't lost but 5 people to the Nazis, right? And when you come over here to fight them, face to face, you walked real slow, took your time. Normandy, you wasn't in no hurry to get to Berlin, right? Everybody know that. To let us fight all of these Germans. And then you're going to come and you're going to say, well, we're going to take this, we're going to take that, and you keep that little area, East Germany, that's good, right? And then I know you're going to keep Poland and you're going to keep that. And then after they leave the Russian thing, they all join these people over here. They ain't saying, oh, no, we're not doing that. We done already. And then if you got a guy, you fight him and you bad as he is, and you happen to win, you can't go around disrespecting the guy. He's a champion. All right. If the U.S., the dumb U.S., happened to, the Russians had a bad day or two and they got stuck in Afghanistan. That's what it is. It destroys empires. Right? Not Ukraine, Afghanistan. It destroyed the Russians, and it destroyed when Boss Man ain't been the same. How can these people keep fighting for 20? They already fighting for 10 or 15 years. They have a little rest, and they fight for another 20 years. We done drop daisy cutters on them, right? And they ain't even. That's what they do. They don't know that's what they do, but they do that. They destroy empires. Anybody ever came through there, when they left dizzy, like, what was that all about? You know, slob and bleeding from the behind, that's where they all leave. Okay. So, in the time we're living in, we have selected kind of where we want to be. But Boss Nan is not answering the phone. So we're going to do our selected on our own. We just won't have nothing to do with, Boss Man called, we ain't home. It's like the Saudis. Saudis calling Boss Man now. Right, we ain't here. Ain't nobody home. Right? And the guy, look, manifested, look, so ridiculous and so overwhelming that it's, like, talk about this all the time, but look at how many things are happening, how fast they're happening. Sanction your guys, and you got inflation going. And Ukraine and Russia produces so many, 40% of all the wheat in the world, right? And the Africans are going to starve. Europeans are going to starve. They're going to be hungry in a minute. They won't have no more bread. Anything you make wheat out of, they ain't going to have it. And you telling all them people, hey, I guess oil was 114 and then 121. It went down for a couple of days, but it's back. I was talking California the other day. They talking about $5 and $6. Yeah, it's a real price. It's a real price. One of my brothers told me that he put $100 in his van the other day and it was half full. Half full, yes. Si, senor. Si, senor. Half full. $100. $100. Now you think about transportation. Think about them big trucks out on the highway. And all those oranges either come on a train or truck and all that stuff that everything in the grocery store has California. That Central Valley is a huge place. And then the rest of it come from Mexico and from Florida, right? So, yeah, during this time of year, some stuff in Florida is nice and tropical. But to come up here, you got to get out there on I-5 and drive 95, drive all the way up here. And the grapefruits and other stuff coming from California, Texas is muy lejos. It's a long way. And this southern Texas, it ain't nothing growing in northern Texas. It's too cold up there. Those grapefruits, food, it'll last a long time. Okay, anyway, the point is this. The manifestation of defects. Whether it's clothing, whether it's fuel, whether it's food, inflation is on a roll now, but wait till that other stuff kick in. And you can't call Saudi Arabia because you just told them, we don't like you. You've been bad. And that guy's so arrogant, he said, yeah, well, they didn't call Saudi Arabia and another country over there. They ain't even answering the phone. Huh? They're not answering the phone. We don't want to talk to you, boss man. Oh, no, we ain't talking. Can you imagine? Then they say, well, hey, how about Iran? Hey, Iranians, how y'all doing? Venezuela, long time no see. Bienvenido. Right? They starved the people to death, ruined their country, and now Venezuela, hey, you guys, how about let's do a little deal, right? These people look like insane hypocrites. And they want the people to starve for them. And they want to, ain't nobody, see, America is still, energy, sufficient a little bit. Nobody else is. Nobody else is. They're not energy sufficient. They have to pay for everything. You know what I mean? And they have to pay big bucks. And I don't know. I know the radio is lying. But they talk about don't be afraid of $200 a barrel. I mean, $200 a barrel for oil. They're saying that the premium can get to $10 a gallon. Can you imagine? Well, if it's already at $6.50 a gallon, that ain't far to go. That ain't no whole long way to go. And this is the East Coast. It's $5, $4.75 for everything here. And it's good prices here compared to California. Okay, manifestation of defects means that whatever they wanted to do, they're the ones started the trouble with Ukraine. Oh, you tell them, we're going to have you friends. We're going to make y'all. And then Ukraine, the guy's a dummy. He said, okay, we're going with y'all. And Putin had already put his troops there. He said, no, man, we ain't done. It's too close. You had a missile crisis. You held, what's the name, them 90 miles away. These people on the border, right? We ain't having that. We're just not having it. I don't care what you say or how you fix it. We ain't doing that. And they ain't not putting up with it. We're not having you on our border. You broke our agreement. With Poland, with everywhere else, you broke it. And now you're going to sit right here next door. And what's all these biological weapons you've been making over here? Did it kill up a whole? We did that. That's somebody else. Y'all doing that. So, yeah. Well, why the hell we do it there instead of our own country? Yeah, so we don't know what you're going to do. You're going to let all that stuff loose when the wind is blowing our way and let it blow over on us? We ain't having all of that. We're not having it. Right? And no matter what. And then they talk about freedom of the press and freedom. And then you can't get nothing from that they say from nowhere, and all you can get is what they say. And then they pretend like that's the real story. Our story is real.
Unless you look at or listen to alternative media, you wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't even know. You're talking about lying. Them people lie so bad. Like right now, I won't listen to, I always just have NPR on. I won't listen to it right now. I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to. Every now and then I'll sneak and I just turn it and listen for 30 seconds, turn it back to something else. Because that stuff, they could not have done anything worse for themselves. They're going to divide up NATO, right? They already showed everybody, they don't. When you're going down, you do everything that would continue your route down. People have already forgot about the submarines in Australia and France. That's only a couple of months ago. You think them people forgot it? They ain't forgot nothing. Okay, they're trying to hold NATO together. It ain't going to work. Because everybody can see that the United States is thinking about itself. And when it's thinking about itself, it's thinking about the arms industry. And the people in the United States are going to suffer from inflation. And this might be the straw that breaks the camel back. Whatever it is, when this thing come out of it, where that camel might have a little bit, like them horses, you ride them too early, they have a little sway back in the middle of the. That's the way these guys are going to be. It don't make no difference whether it fall or not. This thing is finished. Okay, now, here we come. Just because we've been right all the time, it don't mean nothing. Just because we would like to help the world, boss man don't see it like that. When he look, he see niggas. Is that a nigga? Yes, a nigga. Okay. There's no such thing as a good, friendly nigga. I don't care whether Mandela has a program he had, right? I don't care whether Jomo Kenyatta did it back in the old days in Kenya. I don't care. We're not trusting them niggas because we know what we do to them. And if I was in get power, I know what I would do. And they think of us as being like them or worse. Okay? So we're not like that. And therefore, and I'll move toward a close with this, Tafweed is turning everything over to Allah. And Rida is being pleased with whatever Allah give you. And we've been in that condition for decades now. And it was difficult at first because you always want to, if you're a planner or organizer and a manager, you can remember some of the old articles, Management in Islam, Strategic, so you want to have put your own destiny in vogue, because you're used to doing it. But when we look at all the things that are happening, all of a sudden, we know we didn't do that. And by turning your hand into Allah and let Him deal it, hey, He can deal a better hand than you because He's in charge of all. His hand is over, and that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now. So we'll either clean up a little bit around here tonight or just wait till the weekend. Or what do you think is best?
Let's do it this Saturday. I prefer Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with it Saturday. Yeah, we'll go with it Saturday, and we'll have a cleanup, and we will. That way, we'll have Juma here tomorrow, but we just let the cooking. We'll start. We're gonna do enough cooking in the near future, so we'll cook something for Sunday, the Sunday program. Okay, we're gonna produce a a Ramadan letter, and the Sunday CD will be orientated toward the last one that we had. It'll be a filler for that one. Today we just wanted to talk. When we don't have a program on Tuesday, we say, well, maybe Wednesday. That's waiting. There's a news cycle going on. And if you look at every time something has been going on and it's been kind of deep, we said, shoot, we'll wait till have this at least after the fifth round. We'll get an idea how the fight is going. And so, well, let's wait till the eighth round. And that's the way it goes from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday. And it's good. It's good because every day this stuff gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And hey, man, if a person never trusted in Allah and the Quran and Hadith, he would trust in it after these series of things. He would say, I believe this stuff. This stuff is real, man. If you had hey, and that's the way we feel. So let's continue to trust in Allah, and whatever happened, Allah gonna make it easy for us. Allah has made it easy already. So, alhamdulillah. Are there any questions, anything? Because a lot of stuff we could have. Mm-hmm. No, man, it's already the fish. He probably ate a doggone fish or something that ate all that plastic. But,
It's not rare. It's like they're finding like 8% of discoveries of
see, this beautiful creation that Allah sent us or gave to us worked perfect. They ain't got no. And can you imagine the ocean is like a sewer, and he won't stop. If he would have stopped right now, the ocean would clean itself out. It'd take a while. But this boy is. That's why those end of times come. Like the society at that time get to a stage where it just need to revive and a remodeling. Okay, the stuff that's happening now is the stuff. This is our time. We didn't have the ability to nasty up the whole ocean. We didn't even have enough people. We didn't have. So now we can. But the diseases that the earth have now are the diseases that we're giving it. It purifies itself. Just imagine. That's wonderful to have a thing that circles around and it cleans itself all the time and it balances itself out. Oh, man. Allah hooked the earth up and the rest of the creation. You know? And this is just not even a, it's not even a corner of creation, just the stuff out there. There's so much stuff, it's unbelievable. It'll be a zillion years before we can figure out the size and scope of it, and it'll be another zillion years before we can get to travel around and see it, because things are light years away. The closest thing, Proxima Centauri, is 4 light years away. That don't sound like much, but that's 186,000. If you're on a boat going that's fast, it take you 1 year would only be, what is it, 186,000 miles per second times 60 times 24, right? Times 365. The numbers will go all around here. Right? That's 1 light year away. And we can't travel nowhere at warp 10, ain't even no 186,000 miles per second. Boom! Right? Before we start into boom, it's already going 186,000 miles per second. Just the numbers, the size of the universe, you know what I mean? And you could see that. That's 50 light years away. Oh, that's 200 light years away. 200 light years. God, no. That's 1,000 light years away over there. Shoot. It's not even computable. You know what I mean? It's too many zeros. It's too far. It's too much going on. And all of it works in harmony. And they figured that was an accident. Something it accidentally happened. Right? The earth is an accident. These people are dumb. You got to watch out for them. They'll get you killed. Like they're killing the earth. That's why they're killing it, because they're dumb. And I'll close with this. You can't find any natural people. The American Indians always prayed. They got something, thank you, Wanka Tonka, Eagle Eye, whatever, for this right here, right? When they planted that Indian corn, they drop a fish in there, a little fish. Now, they didn't know this is fertilizer, the best fertilizer you could put in that hole. Of course, it's already fertilized with all the stuff around. But you're going to put, with that seed, you're going to put a fish in there. Now, it ain't nothing better to put in a hole with a seed than fish. Right? Tell the truth. I mean, it's protein, it's good God Almighty. They did it because they were natural. All Africans, before we do anything, Bismillah. We thank Allah. The Americans, not the Americans, the people that's in charge, they don't do that. We're in charge of this bull crap stuff. God, which one? We do this. We're doing this. Yeah. I say, yeah, okay. Knock yourself out. But I'm staying as far away from you as I can. I'm not going to take no chances. But anyway, are there any more questions or comments?
Yeah, one comment was, Alhamdulillah, I'm glad Imam Musa is on point on this issue on Ukraine and Russia.
Right.
That was one comment, and then there was another question on what's going on in Ukraine.
Yeah, he's pleading with them, but ain't nobody listening. Okay, they got NATO. He's not going to say, even Europeans are not stupid enough to say next week, why? We don't have no wheat. And summer comes later over there. So they got another month to where it'll be some chilliness. It don't make no difference. They need heating oil. They need motor oil, right? And they need food. And they are already suffering mass inflation. So, boss man just chose the wrong time, and everybody is against him. Okay, China. One thing, boss, I was going to talk about it, but I didn't have time. Look, if China, if Iran, if Russia, and a few more, Venezuela, which they all work together a little bit now, but they're guaranteed that they work together. You take Chinese over there, they know we got Taiwan. If he's successful here, he's going to be over there. Because he was already starting it. Now he didn't quiet it down about Taiwan. He didn't quiet it down about Hong Kong. But he was over there messing with stuff, for me, is what the Chinese are thinking. And the Thucydides trap is relatively correct. One power is rising up, the other one is coming down. But it's not only the Thucydides trap, it's the behavior of the United States is forcing the allies together. Right? And China has a part to play. So China, in this, he can go back to his Chinese laundromat thing. He can say, hey, I'll be the peacemaker and all of this stuff. That's what China's saying right now. So China is on Russia's side, but it don't say, China don't say, I'm on Russia's side altogether. I'm down with them. They don't say that. No, they don't. They don't. They shouldn't. They're going to play the game. They're going to play, the other people are smarter than the United. No, when it's your time to go, everything you do is dumb. It's dumb. So you done already tipped the Chinese off last month, 2 months ago. Yeah, we gonna give weapons to Taiwan. They're giving weapons to Taiwan. That's why you're giving weapons, man. All it is you're gonna make them feel their oats. You know what I mean? And that's against our agreement. Yeah, it's all right. I'm the United States. So they done quieted down on Taiwan a little bit, and they've quieted down on Hong Kong. They got to focus on Ukraine. And you think the Chinaman's, like, a couple of times I wanted to send messages to China. And guess what? China got this stuff all together. In fact, everybody, years ago, with Iran and others, I was way out in front in all of them, on some of this stuff because I had traveled around the world. So I looked at the whole world. They looked at their own thing. But each one have became experts in what they're doing. So Iran, they have experts. Those guys are experts now. Hey, man, in their civil service, and they got it down. They know what they're doing. That was a time when they did a reasonable job all the time, but now they have a cadre of people. They've been doing this for over 40 years now. And they don't throw nothing away. Like They have an expediency council. When you become president, right, wherever you go and become a part of the you become a part of a group that they're going to save your knowledge, right? And to save your knowledge. So Ahmadinejad, no matter what anybody say, he's part of the expediency council. He have a headquarters, he have a big office, you could tell that he has, look, last time when I saw him, we talked, so he said, before I'm leaving, well, what can we do for you? Like, we want to help you out. So I said, no. I just came to visit. In other words, now if it had been anybody else, I would have told them, hey, we need this, that, and other, and we need $1 zillion. But if you have a few million, we'll take that and we'll go with that. But that was really a friendly, brotherly visit. You know, and one thing he told me when he was trying to figure out some word or something, he said, it's okay. He said, our hearts are in tune. I said, ain't no leader ever said nothing like that our hearts are in tune. It don't make no difference. I said, okay. So now, with the United States, with all of the people involved in all of these things right now, the U.S. just went running to Venezuela after cutting them off for 500 years and making them eat bean soup for years at a time. Hey, ¿cómo te ha ido? How you brothers doing? Well, how would you like to just put some of your oil back on them? Oh, man, get on out of here. Well, Mr. The Arab that's killing everybody from Saudi Arabia. Hey, how about, what's his name? Ain't nobody home. Don't answer the phone. That looked like boss man, ex-boss man called him, right? That's him. Okay. So when you take everything that's going on right now, the United States have built its own cemetery that it's going to go to rest in. It's nobody's fault, anything like that. So everything that's happening right now is the fulfillment of not what he deserved, not all of that kind of stuff, but everything he comes in contact with, he accelerates it downhill. He speeds it up going downhill. What was the question on the bit? Oh yeah, what was? So I halfway answered. Look, China. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the silkworm missile. The silkworm missile. This is way back in the beginning, when Iran was fighting Iraq. The only missile they could get that was worth anything was a silkworm missile from China. When I would be in Iran in the 80s, it would be tons of Chinese there. Okay, so everybody that's moving and grooving right now have decades of dealing with each other. They have decades of dealing with each other, and like, you take Russia. The U.S. tricked Russia on Gaddafi. That was one of Russia's friends. When they come around to Syria, they say, oh, no, we let you go on that one. You ain't, no, you ain't doing that. Okay, so, plus the dumb U.S., they tip everybody off. They tipped off the Chinamans about, we're mad at you and we're jealous because Can you imagine the Chinese that you want us to listen to you and your whole the place is falling apart? It's not, it has fallen apart.
And then they're gonna have Chinese students going to Berkeley, seeing the homeless.
They got everything, and these Chinese, they speak perfect English, and all they diplomats speak perfect whatever language, and they've really upgraded. The point is everything. It's just a historical reality. When you're on the way up, you headed up. Allah got you on the thing, you're going up. You could kill Indians, you could enslave Negroes, you can do all that. Because that's, Allah got you on that up to see how you're going to act with it. And Allah know what you're going to do. But He wants you to know how you are. He wants you. Allah put that in people so they learn themselves. America will have its own history. No matter how much they try to hide and play with the radio and the TV and don't let nobody on, you know what I mean? In a few years, everything that we have said, everything will be out in the public, running around somewhere. Everything, all right? They will have Masjid al-Islam or Imam Musa experts. They will. This is the way I feel about it, right? That analyze, well, why? Because this is a Negro that forecast everything in detail before it happened. So it's not a prophet, not a mystery man, not all of that, right? This is a political analyst, strategist, forecaster. You talk about the Chinese documentary, Chronicle Lives and archives and all that. They had chiefs of that thousands of years ago. And we've been talking about it here and we didn't even know it. We'd pull on the phone and look at, hey, man, the guy that suffered the most was the chief of documents or something like that, right? That lost his wife and the book, so, right? We're just doing this stuff naturally. Okay, that means we're falling into a natural flow that's been going on here, and that's why we relate to the Chinese. And all we say to the Chinese is, you do better. Don't become like them. You've been through this 100 times before. Civilization. Okay, now, so treat the Negro better. He's hard. It's hard for us, so we know it's hard for you. You treat Negroes, the Africans, if they try to steal from you and borrow money and don't pay it back, write it off. It's going to be hard for Chinamen because they like to keep everything. They don't. Anyway, so, but they're moving into a position of power. Allah is saying to them, this is what I believe, hey, during this dispensation, you're going to have big sway. Okay? So now, one thing about it, you got your own history and you've seen this play hundreds of times. So now you don't have no excuse now. You don't have no excuse now about civilization. And now you with the whole civilization. So before you built the wall around you, because you said, them people out there, we don't want to have nothing to do with them. They call it the Great Wall y'all built. Okay, but now you seeing how everybody is. And you're going to have to share with humanity. They got to get into them. They're not the judge of humanity. Allah doing that. And don't let Africans and them others, they're going to steal everything that you put out there. I don't care what you put out there. Them niggas is gone with that. They, because if you would have heard me advising some of the Muslims on dealing with Africans, you would think I was actually anti-black, But you heard the lectures, I'm telling them, no, y'all ain't going to have nothing. You ain't going to build no, all them houses. You ain't going to do that. ANC, you ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't do it. And I would say because you are black and because you are here at this time, not at another time. At another time in the past, you had the character and the history to pull it off. Timbuktu days, you could have pulled it off. But now you've been colonized and run crazy by people from over there, and you're acting worse than them, as a group. It's just two. So this is a big thing. This world is important now. The people that begin to influence and manage it, they're going to have to call. Chinaman's going to have to start doing a lot of praying. Yeah, they're going to have to integrate into that. They mostly halfway there, but they got to add in another element because this is too big for them too. They got to chime in with that intergalactic celestial kingdom. That's what they call it. Celestial. They're going to have to type in all of that. And they know the big laws of history and they've taught those to themselves. But they're going to have to really evolve because the way it is that the balance, if you look at the way the world is now, China is in Africa. The Russians have to defend on the Chinese to handle this right. Like right now. So the Chinese they're in that position because this is the way the world is. So the U.S. going to try to trick them, but the Chinese are going to smooth right on through it, just like, but they're going to have to ask for divine help because this is a divine period. You know what I mean? Okay, so this might be how you never know. If they can adopt principles that fit right in with what they was doing. If you notice, they're not leaving anybody behind. They used to throw rocks at Confucius and all of them old handkerchief-headed people. But now they're bringing all of them along because they're Chinese. Because each one of them had a certain thing that they was doing, and all of them had ethics and morals and what have you. That discussion about celestial realities, up there, they're going to have to pipe into that, I believe, And everybody, to rescue this, what Boss Man has done to the world, everybody going to have to really grow and develop because the normal stuff won't get it there for them. The normal stuff, strategic management, that ain't going to work. Not for this, right? It's effed up. This is where we are now. It's effed up, and just think about inertia. Inertia is moving forward, right? If the car stops and you in it, you keep going, you bust your head upside the windshield if you don't have a seatbelt on. Inertia. If they stopped right now doing what they're doing, the air would still continue to get dirtier and dirtier for a while, right? Until it starts to clean up. How long to clean up the water? If you leave them go a little while longer, there's something at the bottom of the ocean that they put in them batteries or something. They don't want to go down there. They're going to get up, suck up all the little tar, whatever that stuff is. They're going after that. They're going after that. So they're not only going to mess up the ocean, they're going to go down in it and mess it up. We ain't got started yet. Okay, this period we're living in is a big deal. For our period, this sounds like all them other periods, like the end of time or the end of that era or the end of, these signs is kicking in is serious. Okay, so back to China. I'll finish China by saying this. The Chinese had a capacity. They definitely had a capacity to they feel good about themselves because of what, no Chinese and dogs allowed up till last week. Not last week, but So they call it the century of humiliation. And remember, after you've been big as they was for all that time, and then these uncivilized, whatever they are, then took your inventions, gunpowder and all that, and remanufactured it, and now they bringing it over here, blowing you up with your invention. That's what they did, right? That's what happened. Okay, everybody. So, okay, the point is, for us, for Chinese, we're living in a great period in history. So I would just ask everybody, let's give it a shot. There's no way around it. I mean, And if we have young people and wives and families, there's no guarantee about the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. At the rate we're going, where will the earth be? Can you clean it up? In another 20 years of doing it, can you clean up the hair? 20 years of doing this stuff, right? Do they have a big plan right now to fix up there? Not one single plan. Ain't nobody, the only plan they got is build more bombs, keep people fighting because they can't think of anything else. The U.S. will just keep making the rich folks richer and the bomb makers more money, and we'll be able to get a little cut for my Senate race and out of it, and that's all I want. That's all they're doing. They're not even thinking about it, anything else. Okay, we can't let them suicide us. We don't want to, we don't want that stuff to happen that they're doing that will cause all of that. It's already happening. So any more questions about China or anything? I hope I answered that question.
No, there's no more.
Okay. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر